Hello and welcome to
Closing the Gap.
Motorsport Diaries. My name is Aranza.
And my name is Ari.
We are back for
another episode. Apparently you liked us so much that you wanted us to come back. That's what we keep hearing.
That's what we like to keep hearing.
That's hopefully what we will hear.
Yeah, that's a hope we will hear.
That is the hopes. All right, what do we got this week?
This week we have Barcelona.
Barcelona GP, Spanish GP this week.
Yes.
And we're also going to, this is a double episode for you guys, so we are going to be mixing it up a little bit to keep it with the trend. We watched the first 3 episodes of Formula One Academy. Cheers from the back. Woo! See, there's people here. We're not making them up in our minds.
We have a crew.
And I honestly, well, we're going to talk about it later, but we have that coming as well. So, find a comfortable spot like we did. Get your snacks because we have a good episode for you today.
Yes, we do. We have 5.5 laps of disaster.
Complete disaster.
The rest of the 66 laps of this track are nothing to be said.
66 laps in Montmeló, Catalonia, which is the outskirts of Barcelona. You know, a lot of people think they raced in Barcelona. They really don't. It's like I'm gonna say like an hour.
Well, we were very grateful to be there last year. So we know it took us
on the
like
train.
an hour and a half. We took the train and the bus to get there, bus, train, other bus.
We were staying in very close to the Gothic
Center.
quarter or whatever that's called, El Barrio Gótico, right? And we took it. It was different trains, but if we took the direct one, it would take us like about an hour to get to Montmeló, and then from there, like many circuits, they offer a shuttle from the train station. So obviously, if you're there for the GP, they have all of the transport or the shuttles or the services
ready
to
go. They were very organized. I love that. It was my first time at a European track, and the organization of that track was chef's kiss.
They make your commute efficient. But we digress. Spanish GP, 66 laps in Montmeló, and I am very sad to say that hometown heroes didn't get the Grand Prix.
They didn't get podium, but we got
2 points. 2 points, Fernando Alonso points, and the first ones of the season, so that makes how many seasons in the points?
He has 21 seasons.
21 seasons.
Of getting points.
Under the belt. God damn.
What a ride.
Well, we're very happy for Nano. Congratulations. We're also going to we have to talk about, we unlocked the second Piastri sister.
We did.
Snap, snap, snap. Eddie. And then he dedicated the win to her. He wrote that.
Too cute. And every new sister we unlock,
they keep getting cooler.
Yeah, Oscar just does not seem like the coolest person in the world anymore.
I think maybe that's why they're like, we have to unlock them. I think maybe that's why they're lost.
He's hiding them.
They're like, if they meet my sisters, they're not going to think I'm cool anymore. Right. And honestly, I can see it. I can see it, bro. I can see why you're doing
We're
what
on
you're
to
doing.
you, Oscar.
We need the third sister now. The paddock was vibes this weekend.
It was. The England football team was there.
They were sprinkled across the garages, which was so cute to see.
You just got one shot Mercedes garage, one shot McLaren, one shot Ferrari, and there was like 3 or 2 of them in each one, and it was vibes. They were having the time of their lives.
It was really wholesome. Every time the camera would focus on them, I was like, oh, there's 2 more.
Yeah.
And it's like collecting them.
Yeah.
And I think we're obviously used to seeing celebrities around the paddock, but we have the ones that are like complete star-studded, and they usually, it's usually like the Vegas, the Monaco,
Miami.
Coda. I think all the Americans one are usually the ones where it's just like, everybody get in there.
Right.
But this one was more of a laid back. We can see why.
Chill vibe.
Everybody wants to go to Spain because
who wouldn't?
The weather is usually at the Spanish GP is really
Super
good.
nice.
Last year when we got a chance to go, it was late June, correct?
It was late June. They switched it up.
It
was still part of a triple header. So this year it was
Imola,
Monaco, and Barcelona. Last year was
Yeah. Last year was they started with Spain, and it was Spain, Silverstone, Sandport, I think.
Spain, Zandvoort, Silverstone.
Let us know. No, I'm just kidding. It was. You're right.
So a little bit of a difference, especially time of year, because they started in end of June.
Yeah.
And we're starting June semi-started June with Barcelona this year.
Which is funny though is Silverstone stayed the same, so they kind of just swapped Spain and the Netherlands around because Silverstone still is on the 4th of July weekend.
Right. Very unpatriotic for us.
For us. Anyways, we go back to the British invasion.
Listen, this British invasion, the British will not leave us alone.
They're in our paddock
long enough.
Anyways, all right. So yes, we go back to the racing. What do we got?
Well, first lap. Before we talk about first lap, tires. We have to talk about tires.
Tires.
Because everyone was pretty much on the same page, except for Yuki. Yuki, I believe, was on hard tires to start this race. And unfortunately,
I have thoughts.
Unfortunately. And I believe also his team did say he was on a bigger front wing or a different wing. Yeah, different wing. So none of the pieces added up. None of the math was mathing. He just was on a completely different strategy than everybody else. And it didn't work out for them. They took a risk.
Well, I mean, neither was Max, really. I mean,
Max was a different stuff.
So Yuki took the hard at the beginning.
Right.
And
Max just went
it's not like
Mario Kart driving.
Okay, Lando.
Man.
Tires were definitely a topic to talk about this weekend. They went with the first 3 compounds, right? Yes.
Yes.
Clearly, it worked for some teams. It didn't work for others. It worked in a lot of them's favor.
Yes.
We did see a lot of... We mixed it up. And listen, like...
I think that's what added to... Yeah, that's what added to the race. Not necessarily because it was a fun race up until... Well, I mean, the first lap and then the last 5 laps was the most fun of it. The rest of it was... The tires were the only thing that was going on.
Listen, they gotta find a way to make it interesting, and I feel like they are. Granted, Max Verstappen does half of the work for them.
Especially this season. You know what? I think he's trying to take over for Kevin Magnussen. R.I.P. our GOAT.
Oh, not R.I.P. You know what? I'm not gonna talk about this because I'm gonna let out all of my excitement and glory when I do. But I miss, and I think you know where I'm going with this. There was something this race that made me miss K-Mag so much.
Right.
I wish he was still racing, to be honest with you. I know he's doing wonderful things in his own racing right now, but I do miss him. I do miss our agent of chaos, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he used to go bowling and made it so much fun.
He had to, every now and then I find myself saying in my head, he had to do what he had to do to protect Nico. It makes me cry. It makes me want to cry.
Man. And the fact that Max is 1 point away from a race ban.
We're gonna talk about that.
Let's first lap. First lap.
Mercedes. Man, like that was a literally 101 class on what not to do at a race start. They both lost 1 and 2 positions, right? The Ferraris completely, I don't know, they just went.
Listen, you know what was going through my head when that happened? And they said, oh, through goes the Ferraris. I said, oh, through goes Hamilton.
Different scuderia, but it still applies.
It still applies because Hamilton is now Ferrari, so through does go Hamilton.
First thing, out the get-go, we see the lights out and away we go. Oscar keeps his cool, goes, bam. We all thought Verstappen was going to be the menace. And he was for a second.
He was.
Right? Lando lost second to Max right away, basically. And then we saw the Mercedes-Ferrari swap, which was a show for sure. Like before we knew it, everything had shuffled. And I think this also played a lot into Nico's race. With those of us who were keeping tabs on him. He started 17th, correct?
Yes,
and he, in the first round of bowling, he went all the way up to 11th. So he made up 6 of those 10 positions within the first lap. We thought the attack was going to come from Max, which it did right away. Lando lost second to Max. And
Ferraris.
We did see the Ferraris literally go past Mercedes. Listen, I need to go back and watch that because the way they just...
Yeah, that was crazy.
Where was that pace later, you guys? Where was it?
Listen, do not ask Ferrari about pace. They're barely dragging that thing. The fact that, well, I'm getting ahead of myself, but the fact that Charles dragged that thing to a podium beats.
Listen. Like, I don't know what's harder to find. Like, the pace between laps 5 and 60 on a Ferrari or the third Piastri sister at this point. Like, we have to unlock either at some point, okay?
Oh, man. That's crazy.
And then, basically, if you want to talk about who gave them the advantage, Mercedes gave Ferrari the advantage because if it wasn't for Kimi, we wouldn't have a restart.
Listen, yeah, Kimi provided, in this whole triple header, Kimi provided just some moments for us.
We are very thankful. We should be. Everybody should be really thankful, unless you're a Mercedes fan. Yeah. But he did provide us with many opportunities, I think.
I think so too. He sacrificed himself for the
greater good.
The betterment of the race.
For the greater good of the sport. We're gonna leave it at that.
I don't think he would agree, but
and then we had
not much. We had not much.
So we had the first lap, and then nothing for 60 laps. For 58 laps.
For 53 laps, because on lap 53, sorry, I'm looking at my notes. Behrman and Lawson would not let Lando and Max through.
Well, listen, Lawson. Let's touch that subject for a second.
Let's not.
So, Alex, they did give a penalty to Alex, right?
10-second penalty.
Because he was in the wrong.
Which he recreated a Kimi Räikkönen incredible meme. The fall wax. But much more calmly. In a true Alex way.
Yeah, in true Alex Albon fashion.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, granted, he did need to know what it was for. Because that also didn't make sense to me that he was already retiring.
Yeah.
What's the point?
So yeah, Liam kind of, and if we look at it in the bigger picture, I feel like Lawson's still finding his footing, and there's a lot of, I mean, who are we to say that? But I feel like there's a lot of grace to be given to Lawson. But if you really do compare him with all of the other rookies, he's finding his legs. Lawson has not been a rookie for a long time. So where are all these? Either he provokes them, we're not talking about the one Alex. The story said that Alex was at fault and he paid for that. Right. But then later with Ollie, and so it keeps happening. It's an occurrence that.
And it's not the first time. I mean, in this triple header alone, we keep hearing his name coming up with any type of contact.
Mostly competing.
Yes.
Bro, let people through. What is the problem here? They're lapping you.
Right. That's the most basic thing. If you see the blue flag, let people through. Let people through.
Listen, even Gabriel knows this. I don't understand.
We will get to Gabriel.
We will get to Gabriel. We need the rookies to sit down with Liam and kind of just give him the one-on-one again downhill.
What are you doing?
Right? What is he doing that for?
Right.
You don't ask those questions.
If you saw last episode.
You know.
Come on now.
And, okay, so that's that. We move on to...
Lap 56, our safety car. Kiwi, I'm so sorry you had to take one for the team. You had to take one for the sport. And DNF'd, which allowed a 4th tire change for Verstappen. And a 3rd tire change for a little bit more than half of the grid.
Yeah, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And which is the pit stop where McLaren put on his hards that pretty much screwed over his entire race.
Right.
What did I say?
McLaren.
I meant Max Verstappen. Which is the pit stop where Max put on hard tires, and that is pretty much this strategy or lack thereof. I guess they didn't really have another option. We heard it over the radios. It's not like they had another option.
Right.
He got to put on the hards, and that is pretty much what screwed over the rest of his race.
I don't think any team would have been prepared for a 4 pit stop race. Not very common. 3 pit stop, they could probably swing it, but 4, absolutely not. Not planned. Just wasn't his race. And then he gave us the most fun / not fun.
All right, let's talk restart. So every time we see physically a restart, I always think of that. Some of you will know the little video of like one person like walking, and then they just they take off. Every time we have a restart in a race, that's the meme I think of.
Too funny.
Yeah, because Oscar took a minute to
restart,
right?
He did, but I mean, it's up to his discretion to do the restart, which he took it and ran with it.
But that's basically, so Oscar goes, Lando goes, and I think either his wheels locked up. I can't remember exactly what happened, or I don't know if we know exactly what happened. Right. But Max didn't go right away, and Charles stepped on the gas, because that's when we heard Max say he almost ran into the back of my car.
Which he did not run into the back of his car. It's on camera. It's caught in 4K.
But it looked for a second.
Yeah. He did wait until he crossed that restart line to go for it. And Max, from my point of view, he kind of turned in to block him, but Charles was already past the point of being blocked. There was no way he was getting blocked.
And then George thought he could do the same.
Yes, he did.
And then he had another thing coming.
Oh, man.
I think we go back to the whole Max psychology of things, right? Because the first radios we heard right after that was Charles rammed into the back of my car. Yep. Charles did this, Charles did that. And it would have stayed there. But then George had to try and come for it.
Right, which as a racer you should. If you think you have a chance, go for it.
But then we also, it's not like Max went he left track to gain advantage, right? So it's not like he was doing things by the book either. So George stayed on track and did what he went for the gap, which any racer would. Yep. And that's when things got ugly. But like I said, it's not like Max was in the right in the first place.
No, he wasn't. And I think he knew that as well. That's why in all of the post-race interviews, he was very much like, I'm not answering these questions.
And good for him.
We saw what happened, right?
I don't think and that's the thing. If he talks about it, he talks about it. There's nothing he can say whether our people are going to be either in the right or in the wrong. Either he doesn't talk about it, or if he does, he can't tell you what to think. And people are going to definitely always think subjectively of whatever he answers of any question.
Right.
So I respect him, and honestly, props to him, and I support that he genuinely just doesn't want to engage, and that's his prerogative. And
it's also
I like it.
He's in his own right to not engage with people if he doesn't want to. If you want to talk about it, talk about it. If I don't want to talk about it, I'm not going to talk about it, and you can't make me.
I think it was to Sky. He's like, does it matter?
Right. As soon as they ask, does it matter?
And then they're
everyone can make up their own scenario, their own opinion about his way of racing, and that's fine. Everyone has a right to make their own opinions, and he also has a right to not answer any questions he doesn't want to answer.
He did what he did. He knows why he did it. Sometimes you can let the heat of the moment like take over.
Yeah.
They're still humans.
I do still think that penalty was not enough, but that's not up to me.
Yeah. I feel like we've heard all sorts of feedback about about it yesterday. I think
There's
Nico
a lot of
Rosberg
people
said that they should have disqualified his entire race, which
a lot of people are saying that. There's so much discourse of people saying no, that's a disqualification. It's up to your own discretion. I mean, the FIA made their decision, 10-second penalty. Take it with a grain of salt. It already happened, but
Ocon got bigger penalties for track limits last year.
Yes.
Or 2 years ago, whenever that was. Like,
yes.
Listen, I'm not gonna go into it because we'll never know exactly what happened.
Right.
Everybody's got thoughts on it. Was it anti-sport? That's where I draw the line, I think. It was.
Yeah.
If it was done on purpose,
it was
we don't know that it was.
Unsportsmanlike.
Unsportsmanlike. But it's Max, and not that that's a reasoning or an excuse for it, but listen, at the end of the day, all of this money, FIA, things that we deal with the sport, mostly in the last few years, is almost like, oh, it's for the entertainment.
Here's your entertainment.
There it is, your entertainment. You wanted entertainment?
There it is.
I don't know.
He's giving it to you. He's giving it to you.
And then again, it's George. So the rivalry continues. It's not even a rivalry. It's more of a riff at this point, I think.
It's not. Oh, man.
George, you just need to listen. When you are up there with the points, maybe we'll consider it a rivalry.
Listen, George, just get Alex to take you out for a nice dinner again, and everything will be alright.
Sort it out in the paddle court. How about that?
Yes. I know they'd all love that.
Right. Just take everybody, make a day out of it. Talk to me about
McLaren's perfect pit stop at the end.
You got it right. Lando second.
He did.
You can't have them all.
No.
Oscar's got advantage on the championship now. He is how many points ahead?
10. He's
10 points ahead now.
So it's not much, but he is ahead by 10.
Yeah. I feel like that's going to be the rest of the season. I'm really happy that McLaren have made peace with it is what it is. Oscar's got on record and say, may the best man win. And I'm here for it. Like, they should let them race. They're both really good.
They're also both very level-headed about the whole thing. You can tell that they're in a really good place.
Took them a couple seasons together, so they should.
Yeah, I think they're good. Last year was a little rough because championship contention was out of nowhere for them. But this year they're a little bit more prepared. You can tell they've talked about it and everything's okay.
They've processed it.
Yes.
And so we have Oscar and Lando in second now for championship. And then Leclerc got his
podium. I think his second or third podium?
Second or third podium of the season, yeah. Good for him. And that did come out of nowhere. Honestly, I never thought a Ferrari would get a podium in this race. But good for him. Good for him. I was really happy to see those three in the cool-down room. I think it was entertainment.
It was so much fun in the cool-down room.
I feel like we were all waiting for it, right? Like we were just all sat there, like, please show them the clip. Just show them the clip already. I just need to see them react to it.
Oh my god.
And they did not disappoint.
Oh man, that was Barcelona.
They went Mario Karting apparently.
Oh yes.
And last but not least, because we need to hear it. We need to hear for the driver of the day. And no, I am not talking about Max.
Driver of the day.
The real driver of the day. The one that
driver of the year.
Listen, if you know me, which you don't yet, but my goat, Nico Hülkenberg, the one and only. I cannot applaud him enough.
Round of applause.
Everything, all the content I have seen in social media about this man's race is very wholesome. Everybody's giving him all the flowers that he deserves because honestly, he put together such an amazing race.
He did.
And congratulations to Nico. He scored more points than they scored the entire last season in one race. Man. We're all very happy for him. We're so glad he got points.
He worked so hard for those points, and I applaud him. He did such a good job.
He put a really good race together. The team helped him put that good race together.
They did.
There's a video where they apparently he said that they got lucky, and somebody just said him, "You did not get lucky, brother. Like, this is you putting on an amazing race."
Absolutely.
And it was, like his driving, it was his strategy, it was everything. Like I said, he made up 5 positions of the 10 and within the first lap. But the other ones, he just worked in silence. Listen, he was doing his own race.
Like he said, he was not shown very much, but he was dedicated to get into P5.
He wasn't shown on the main feed at all, I think.
He was shown maybe once, but
and then before we knew it, he was up there in 7th place.
It was a good surprise. I like that surprise.
Yeah, honestly. And then Max went and did the Max thing, and which got him to 5th. So listen, all in all, the stars aligned in his favor.
He did.
He worked for it. He put in all of the work, and I am very happy that Kick Sauber got some points out of his race. I'm really, really happy.
Picture he posted with Portoletto, cuties.
I think they have more coming, honestly, and I have always been one of those people that think Nico is kind of like an unsung hero of the sport. He's been around for so many years. I feel like he's always, taken for granted to an extent in all the teams that he is. But he's the person that's, you never worry about him having a seat next season. You know he's gonna have a seat next season. Like, he's gonna be out of a seat, but you don't worry that you know he's gonna keep coming back because he is a very
and we want him to keep coming back.
So I still think that a top step, a podium is definitely in the cards for him. I don't know if it Kick Sauber, but I think his time will come, and he's got the brilliance to show for it, and every now and again he reminds us. So here for Hulk this weekend.
Absolutely brilliant.
And by the way, if we're gonna chuck somebody in there as well, Franco put a really good race together too. He gained some positions. They changed his gearbox apparently, but he didn't get penalized for it because he didn't change the specs, something like that. They didn't change the settings, so apparently they don't get a penalty for it. So he was able to start on the track
that he qualified
versus on the pit. So good for him, I guess, because he put in a really good race together. He did not make the points.
Also an anonymous race.
Right?
He did good. Yeah. He did good.
So kudos to Franco as well. People are paying attention. We got you.
If you think you're having an anonymous race,
you're not.
You're not. We see everything. And talking about seeing everything, we were missing somebody today.
So 19 cars started this race.
Right.
We were losing the 20th car.
We were missing somebody, missing in action.
By the way, I wasn't sure exactly what was happening when it was announced that Lance he needed surgery. His wrist wasn't doing well.
So this is, I guess it comes down to when he had his first surgery when he broke his arm a while back, I think in 2022. I'm not sure on the year, but they had said that his pain had come back from that same injury. I believe he was snowboarding when he broke it. And he was having pain for the past couple races, and it just finally got to the point where he could not handle it anymore. They needed to do emergency surgery, so he had to opt out. They couldn't get a reserve driver to go into the race because Lance had already done qualifying.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, why is Frederick, right? I think it was, yeah. Not there, but that makes sense. If he did complete qualifying.
He completed qualifying, couldn't complete the race, so he had to withdraw from the race.
So we were missing Lance, the second Aston Martin car this weekend, but Nano got points. So I think all in all,
made up for the absence and got 2 points.
2 whole points. So Aston Martin is one of the best weekends in a sense of results that we've seen this year. So hopefully they put a strong season together, and they got something to show for it. And moving on to the second segment of our episode today.
Formula One Academy, episodes 1 through 3.
So we're going to do it in threes. And so have you seen it? Have you seen the show?
I did. I just watched it. As somebody who watches quite a bit of shows, I love the editing. It just was so much fun to see everything. Everything was so nice. There's a huge difference between the way that they presented. I'm not sure if it's a huge difference in the way that they shot. Formula One Academy based from Formula One, the Drive to Survive. I don't know if it's shot differently, but the editing, oh my god, it was so much fun. It was so upbeat, so it's
dynamic.
It still had its intense moments, as it should, because it is very intense. There's a lot writing on this. The girls have a lot writing on this.
Yeah.
But the editing was so much fun. It was so lively. It was such a fun show to watch.
I really enjoyed the watching experience of it. I don't know that I love the editing because of the narrative that it tells, and mostly in the second episode, which we'll get to. But I think they're trying to, the way that at least that episode was edited, it was trying to tell you what to think or what to believe. And that's the part that I didn't like, when they're trying to oh, this is what you should think, this is who you should like, and this is who you shouldn't like. And I'm not here for it.
But it's also the same thing with Drive to Survive. They do
for
the
sure.
exact same thing. So, I mean, I guess they're kind of staying in that realm of trying to guide the same way, edit it similarly, but what can you do?
All right, so for those of you who have not seen the first episode yet and you happen to be stumbling upon this, Formula One Academy is the women's league where women from, you have to remind me this always, is it what, 16 to 25?
16 to 25, yeah.
16 to 25, young women compete. There is 17 cars that are always guaranteed. There's 17 drivers.
At least for this season.
And there's always the 18th car. It's always a wild entry, which is a local driver or a local talent around where they are competing. Mm-hmm. They are competing 7 times this year.
They are.
The show is based on last season, though. So some of the regulations and rules have changed around the sport. I know we had a question on TikTok, I think, that it was I thought it was, because last year it was four drivers on Prema, I think. And mm-hmm. that is why it changed. So the wild card was an added car. So it was the 19th car because Prema had 4 drivers, right?
Gotcha.
And then so it would be 3 with seats, and then the 4th on Prema would be the wild card. This year, Prema has 3. And so with the wild card, it's not actually Prema, it's a different team. They do have 2 full-time drivers, and then the third. So the wild card is going to be the 18th car, not a 19th car. That is what's changed from this season to last season. So on the show, that's what you see, but it's not like that anymore this season.
No. Yeah, so if you're trying to catch up with Formula One Academy this season, after watching F1 The Academy, it will be a little different as far as the rules and everything like that. On our first episode for Monaco, we actually did a recap of F1 Academy for this year.
The basics.
The rundown. If you want to go see that, if you're interested for watching F1 Academy this year.
Yeah. All right, so first episode of Formula One Academy. Formula One.
The Academy.
The Academy. I love that they gave it a little twist. We have the first episode from the get-go, Abby Pulling, which is our Drivers' Championship, won the Drivers' Championship last year. Spoiler alert if you hadn't actually seen it. And they kind of just tell us a story about Bianca, which is one of McLaren driver.
Yes, McLaren driver last year.
And I think, personally, if you have been on the sport, you kind of know that there's a lot of clout around Bianca and what her story is and what her background is and things that she's done on social media that have made her perception to the public think certain ways about her. I'm not gonna say it, because people have opinions, and some people think that, she's this and this and that, and some other people she's this and this and that, right? On the show, however, they do depict her as, I feel like it kind of like it's counteractive.
Counterintuitive.
No, not counterintuitive. I think it just defeats the entire purpose that we're saying, hey, listen, women are here and they are racing in modified F4 cars, and they're out there, they're doing the same tracks as the guys, they're driving the same cars as the guys in Formula 4. But you're telling this story, this drama about how this young woman can't stay focused because she's distracted with social media, she's distracted with fans, she's distracted with the attention that she's getting from like the fans, and like really like whether it's true or not, she's a professional driver. How unfocused can she really be for her to be depicted that way? Like if you are into the sport and the sport, it's so hard to get into that headspace the same way it's hard to get out of. You're in a car that is going, their cars go 150 miles an hour, the Formula 1 academies, right? That's their top speed. It takes so much training, discipline, and knowledge to be able to drive those cars. No social media or fans asking for a signature are going to get you out of that headspace.
Right.
So credit where credit is due. I don't think them painting her in that light is honestly doing the sport any favors.
Right. The point of F1 Academy is to depict women as they can do it all, and it looks bad on the organization as a whole to depict her in that way, especially because we know that they need sponsorships. They pay for everything themselves. That's why she's, working, doing Instagram, doing everything. And she's not the only one. Most of them are doing the same thing because it costs a lot of money and it comes out of their own pockets. So you have to do what you have to do to make your money.
And that's the thing, and if you were watching the show, you know this, and if you're not, that's why we're here. So the drivers for Formula 1 Academy, they cost their career themselves. They pay for everything. They pay for hotels. They pay to how to get to the races, from the races. Abby's story is told in the first episode, which broke my heart. Like her dad, which is her life partner in crime, can never go to her races because she can't afford to bring him on the track.
Right.
And it's so sad, and her granddad and stuff like that. So obviously, they tear our heartstrings a little bit, and I think that's so sad. But that's the economic
the reality
decision, the financial situation of literally 80% of them. And because they have to pay for everything themselves. So
exactly.
in this particular situation with Bianca, she has to do all of these things to be able to pay for her racing. So listen, a girl's got to work.
A girl's got to do what a girl's got to do.
What would they be saying the same about a guy? We know a lot of the Formula 1 drivers on the current grid, and we're not going to say names, care so much about their image, about their social interactions, about all of their social media, the way they're portrayed, what people are saying about them. They do. Why are we never talking about that? Why is that a topic of conversation that is being said on a Netflix show? How many times have you seen in 7 seasons of Drive to Survive? When have they once mentioned, name and last name was distracted because of their social media? And we know they are.
Yeah, they have a lot of media duties as well. It's not just their personal media. It's also team media that goes into it. So if they really are distracted by media, why would their team make them do media?
Yeah, it comes with the territory, and I think that's a different conversation. But I just honestly that was one of the things that I wasn't
okay with.
Yeah, we're trying to highlight certain things of women running in this sport. That wasn't doing anybody any
We're
favors.
trying to paint women in a positive light, and that just was not doing it for us.
And they're also trying to paint her as the villain of the story, which is also not true. And like I said, if you follow the sport, you know this. People make mistakes, and people have their own things to view in life, but that's a different conversation.
Yeah, that's their personal thing. As far as racing, it's fine.
And so first episode, we got to meet Abby, we got to meet her family, so her supporters. We got to meet Bianca, her family, her supporters, all good in the hood.
We also got to meet Leah Block.
Leah! American Racer. I was not ready to watch Logan on my TV.
Oh my god, 4K. What a jump scare.
Logan Sargent, we still love you. Williams did you wrong. I'll go on record and say that because listen, I am a Williams girl because Carlos until I die. But Logan Sargent, that was wrong. And I was really happy to see him in my TV and see him make that appearance.
That was such a nice surprise. As soon as I saw him, I was like, excuse you, what's going on here? And I completely forgot this was filmed last year when he was still
part of Williams.
A part of our world.
And yeah, Leah Block. I admired her tenacity. I think there's this one episode, I think it's the third episode, where they have to go out and qualify and race in the rain. And she's so excited for it. She's like, I'm just this, I need to find the limits. I need to go out there and this and this and that. And she's very strong. Her tenacity is insane. And, she's American, so yay. She's a woman, she's American, we gotta support her. We don't play favorites.
She also came from the rally world.
She's a rally champion. She was the first woman to do that. That's insane.
She's amazing. And I mean, last year, of course, and you'll see this in the show, but it did take her a while to get used to the car because she's so used to rally cars that F1 cars are a whole different ballgame. And I just love the fact that she got in the car, did what she had to do, and she's killing it.
This woman, at 17, had already raced rally, won a championship, and then she said, listen, I need to go to Formula One.
She does.
Complete different monster of an engine, car, driving spot, everything. So, I mean, she's amazing.
She's great.
I loved her and the way they told her story. Her mom, her dad, rest in peace.
Yes.
But yeah, I love that we got to meet Leah and, the way that her story came across. I really love that on the first episode as well.
Yeah, she was amazing. And I mean, they continue on in the second episode to tell her story. She did have a rough time for a bit and she's very, I think I related to her the most because she's very introverted. She doesn't like social media. She's completely opposite of what we were talking about. But I mean, as we said, social media duties are part of racing duties now. So her little introvert self does have to become an extrovert.
And I love that they're saying that too. Like, listen, if it was up to me and I could only race without doing the social media part, I would. So props to them and props to, voicing it out. Like, we don't really enjoy this side of the hustle, but, they gotta hustle, unfortunately.
They do. They have to do what they have to do, like we said.